Hey everyone, it's Jason. So today I'm going to do an unboxing of a bunch of Dicemasters. So I got a bunch of different packs from our family sets. So we have the Mighty Thor. So I have a couple from there. I have a couple from the Guardians of the Galaxy. We have some from X-Men First Class. And then I have a couple from Batman. Yeah, DC, Marvel, mixing together. So if you're not familiar with what Dicemaster is, I'll try and put out a video at some point, maybe to go through. I have a ton of other Dicemaster stuff. And I'm gonna also do some unboxings for. I have some of the big Ninja Turtle sets, which are like contained sets. But I'll go through maybe like a video at some point, so maybe check out that. Otherwise, there's nothing. But brief idea of what it is you can buy a pack and you can kind of play with the pack. And they're going to have different characters and costs and stuff. I mean, you can't only play with the pack. You obviously need to buy a starter set because it has, like any sort of collectible game, like collectible card game. This is a collectible dice type game. You need to have, like, all the base different dice and things like that. But what it does is it's a dice building game, sort of. As you play cards and you have your dice in a bag, you roll them, you get to pull dice out of the bag and you roll them depending on what side they are. They might end up being a power icon, which you use to pay for things, and buy other characters, and you can buy more dice to keep adding to your bag so you get better characters. Or it could be, you roll it and then it's actually the hero, then you can actually use that to play. So let's just crack open one of these Thor packs, and we'll kind of get a suit there. So in every booster pack, there's going to be a couple things. There's going to be some dice, and we'll look at those in a second. There's usually like a thicker cardboard card in there, and some of the newer sets have like extra rules and stuff. And there's always 2 cards. Each card corresponds with one of the dice. So it's not like super completely random. You're not gonna like get stuff that don't go together. So like for this set we have U.S. Agent John Walker. So the top one's like the main card, and the bottom one's like the version. Every set usually has 3 versions of the same card. So in this set there'll be 3 different like rarities of U.S. Agent. This one's John Walker. The next one might be, Captain America or something. I'm not sure what he's going to be called in each one. I have like all the text on the side there. This bar right here is their rarity. It's like gray, I think, is common. It's like green is uncommon. Yellow is rare. I think red is like ultra rare. I could be wrong on those. I haven't looked at the rarity in a while. And then they do change sometimes from game to game. Like DC, I think, keeps the same one, but I think then the D&D set changed it. So on the bottom here, it's going to show the 6 different sides of the dice. So if I look at his die, I'm going to have a fist. You're going to have the double fist, a second double fist. And then you're going to have 3 different sides that are going to show his symbol. And that's so you can tell. This is so you can match up the dice with the card really easily. And that's going to show all these different stats. And basically, this works like the top corner here, this 1, and 2. That's the cost you have to spend to play this dice. So, like, if I was playing the game and I rolled it, and let's say I rolled onto this side, if I want to actually take this character out of my pool of dice I'm using and play him, I have to spend 1 power point, which could be like one of these fists. You always have to spend... I think you can spend anything to play them. Not 100% sure. I'll double check the rules before I do for sure how to play. But then it just puts it into play, and then now it's treated as a character, and it's not in your regular dice pool anymore. And then you do combat with another player. And then the combat works very similar to like Magic the Gathering. If you're familiar with that, it's basically you choose to attack the opponent player, then they can choose to defend with any number of their dice. If they don't defend with any of their dice, then that player is going to take X number of damage. So like here, like this particular card, he would take 6 damage. and then this dice, because it was not blocked, ends up going back to like my dice bag. So it's kind of like give and take. Otherwise, they could choose to block with one of their other characters, and then he would do 6 damage to that guy, and they would do 4 damage to him. So if they could do at least 4 damage, they'd get rid of him, which would also get him off the field. But it might cost him one of their characters, because he's going to do 6 to them, and if it does at least 6 or more, if it does more than enough to take out, but it'll block any extra damage from going through, like Magic the Gathering. So you can spend, throw a cheap guy in front of a big character to keep from doing damage. But if he's not destroyed, he stays, I think he stays, I don't know if he stays out, or if he just goes to, like, another spot. The board is kind of funky, and again, I'll have to go to the tutorial. But there's different things. It's basically like, if you choose not to, you can take the damage, but then that dice goes away, so you can be like, alright, I'm just going to have to suffer this, but then it's going back in their dice bag, and they might not get that character again for a while. Versus leaving them out there and having a big guy that's constantly blocking them from doing stuff. So it's kind of interesting. And then you can do different things to like level up your dice. So it's like, I can play him, I might do something that lets me level him up to the, you know, from the 6-4 side to the 6-5. Other things on here, they're going to have their cost up here. So when the game starts, your dice are, how many dice you choose to pick, you get like X number of, I think, dice or points you can spend per character to set up your field. And then you can put this many dice up there. I think you can get like 10 dice. You have to decide, do I only want 1 of him? Do I want 2 of him? And it's how many different times you can buy them. And then he costs 5 points to buy, and you have to spend at least 1 fist. So when I roll dice, I have to spend at least 1 fist plus 4 other points. An Avenger character, teams make difference at some point. That's kind of the idea of what the game and what the cards are. Again, I know it's not the best explanation, but I just kind of want to give you an idea. So if I'm looking at these, you can be like, oh, that's what this is, actually this. So we're going to read his effect quickly. So it's when fielded, you may sacrifice a sidekick die, which are like white and black generic dice, and they have like a pawn symbol on it. They're in the base set. And if you do, you can prep 2 dice from your used pile. And this is because, and it doesn't make any sense right now, but like on the board when you're playing, there's like your field where you have your characters that are ready to attack or defend, and then you have like used pile, and then so some used cards, they'll go back into like your reroll, so you have a chance to reroll them. You have a KO side, which will go into your then they're KO, they go back into the bag. It depends on which direction they go around. It's a little weird flow chart. And this max 4 down here means you can only have 4 of this dice, which almost every card has until you start getting to like the super rare. Alright, so let's look at the second card. I've spent forever mumbling about that. So now here we have a shiny. A shiny does not mean anything else other than it's a foiled card. This is not like a rare, so it's like it's a common. But this is Mjolnir. So it says, Mjolnir, whosoever holds this hammer. And it says, KO all level 1 character dice other than Thor. So that's pretty powerful. So basically, if I roll this dice, rather than, if I get one of these symbols, rather than getting a character into play, I can use this card's ability. So this helps if you're playing like a Thor deck. And it says here, if you roll 2 asterisks, you can also KO all level 2 character dice. So if I roll the 1 or the 2 single or the one with the asterisk, I just get a KO level 1. That helps you clear off the board. If you get to level 2, then you can remove all level 2. And now you have to keep in mind, though, this includes all of your characters as well. So it's kind of a gamble. It costs lightning, so you might put it in there for the lightning. The lightning bolts, if you need those, because it's a 1 and a 2 and a 2. Alright, so that's Mjolnir. And then, on the card here that came with this one just specifies, and I'm not going to go too much into all these, but it just adds new keywords that some of the cards might have for this set: Immortal, Deadly, Breath Weapon, Ally, Overcrush, and Underdog. And then like all the different sets usually add new abilities, and they have to include this cardboard in there so these cards don't warp too much. So you can already see they're kind of warping a little bit. That's just the nature of the packs. You just gotta make sure you put them in something flat. So, alright, we're gonna open up some more Thor. We're gonna keep on the Thor train. So what I always like to do whenever I open these, especially a new set that I haven't seen, is I like to open them up and look at them and see if I can guess who they are. So, my guess here is this guy here. This is a Daredevil. That obviously clearly looks like a Daredevil. This one, on the other hand, is some sort of item. Ooh, it's got a smudgy on there. I have no idea what this is. The asterisk goes in this bottom corner, so this is the face up. It's some sort of item, so it could be like a Hela's crown. And just because it's a Thor set, it doesn't have to be 100% a Thor-related character. Oh, that's cool. Alright, so here we have a Daredevil. So this is an interesting Daredevil. Parker Protector. He's a Spider-Man character. When Daredevil is active, when an opponent fields a villain die character, prep a die from your bag. So that's one thing I thought was weird about this game, is they have all the different teams, X-Men, Thor character, like Spider-Man, Avengers, all these different teams. And I get like they don't have like 8 different iterations of X-Men or 8 different versions of Thor or Avengers and stuff, but they just kind of clump all the villains into one set. Just kind of weird. I think they might have broke off some of that. This is one of the newer sets. I haven't played this in a while. But yeah, it's kind of neat when you get a roll up. Your opponent plays a villain, you get an extra die ready to go. So that's kind of helpful. So that's kind of neat. A little Daredevil card. You can see how warped this is getting. And that's just because it sits in the bags. These packs are usually about $1 retail. You can find some of the older ones, for about 75, 80 cents instead. So it's not bad, $1 for 2 dice. So this card was the Bifrost, and that's just got like a rainbowish pattern on there. So the Bifrost, Rainbow Road. Till the end of your turn, when you field a character die, you may move 1 copy of that character die from your use pile to your field zone of the same level. Just summon guys. So now that I kind of look at that, you can see, yeah, when they made this particular die, they didn't do a very good job of blending that blue in there. It kind of all got to that one corner. Still interesting. Alright, we have some more Thor. Let's see what we got for Thor. Who's that Pokemon? So that looks like female Thor would be my guess. It's clearly a Thor, but I don't know if it's Jane Foster Thor, if that's how her helmet was shaped. And there we have a Mjolnir. Looks like it's smashing through something. That's actually pretty cool. Just as the die itself. So I'm not sure which one that is either. Oh boy, okay, that's Ragnarok. The Thor clone. So now, there he has the villain symbol. What they do with these sets, though, so every card in here that's Ragnarok, like all 3 versions, are all going to have the same picture, even if they're supposed to represent different versions of the characters. So, like, a good example could be, like, they could have, like, Wolverine, and then they could have Wolverine from, like, the 80s X-Men, then, like, New Wolverine X-Men, and then Old Man Logan Wolverine. And they have the same picture on all of them. Generally, though, if they're going to be like Old Man Logan, they'd probably just do Old Man Logan. He's not the best example. But they keep the same picture for all 3 cards in the set. And the idea, I think, well, one, just to kind of save artwork, and keep them all in the same thing, so having to commission 3 different pieces of artwork for every character and every set, which would get really expensive. It's also, I think, just that way if like somebody sees that you have this, or they can read if they see your card, they just kind of glance at it. They know which set it's from, but they don't know specifically which one you have. So here we got Ragnarok. When Ragnarok attacks, deal 1 damage to all opposing character dice. Ooh, so that's nice. Be a good way to like weaken everybody up. Takes out all the pawns. And then we were right. Well, I was right. It is Lady... I almost said Lady Jane. Jane Foster. Lady Jane. G.I. Joe Thor. Warrior Spirit. She has Immortal, except when purchased. When this die would go to the use pile, instead add it to your bag. Thor cannot be damaged by villain characters or action dice. So this would be super helpful against Ragnarok. She has a global ability. His global abilities are kind of neat. So it says pay 1 shield, target attacking character die goes to the KO pile, or goes to the use pile of KO this turn. So global ability lets you pay for this. I think even if the characters, or the actual dice character's not out. Again, I'm not 1,000% sure on that. And we have one more Thor pack, if I can find it. There it is. So we got a Raven. This is either one of Odin's Ravens or it is Leia. Or Leah. Maybe it's pronounced Leah. Who worked with Hela and Loki. And then here we have... I don't know what I'm looking at. It's a black dice with 2 horns. My hope is, just because we've already had Daredevil in here, that this is the big giant devil form of Daredevil. That, or maybe it's Surtur. He always had big giant horns. So, oh, this is just Odin. I thought maybe the Raven was like, like, oh, we're taking a play on it. So we have Odin, the All-Father. So he has Immortal, a couple of others, so like you have little asterisks on here. So I'm wondering if the asterisks now somehow like add up. So if you roll, it's just how many asterisks you roll. Because like Mjolnir here said you needed to have 2 asterisks, but he only has 1 card with 2 asterisks, but this also has an asterisk. So I wonder if it's if you roll up to 2 asterisks, you can spend them, if they maybe change that. Because Bifrost also has some asterisks. It's like a lot of the Asgardian characters all have asterisks. I didn't point this out. So everyone's had a gray stripe except Daredevil has a green one. So I think he's an uncommon. You can kind of tell by the numbers too. Because he's number 60, so it puts him about in the middle. Because they alphabetize these. So it's like the uncommons are like A through Z, and then the common cards are, or the commons are A to Z. The uncommons are also A to Z of the same characters. And then when you get to the rare, it goes the same, but they sometimes will pull out, like, I don't know, they did this in the earlier sets, maybe they don't do this. Okay, it was Surtur. They do some of the later sets, it's like, for example, like if Thor had an ultra rare or a like super rare version, he wouldn't have a rare version. They'd pull them out, they'd pull like 4 or 5 characters out of the rare slots to give them their super rare, so that way still everyone only had 3. And then they had like the ultra rares, which were like cards that usually you could only have 1 of the guys, and they were like special versions, like the Marvel zombie versions, or in DC that like the Green Lantern or the White Lantern or the Black Lanterns. So here we have Surtur. Surtur gets +2 attack and +2 defense for each opposing die. Oh boy. So you can get beefy pretty quick. I'm using 8/8 here. So a 10/10. That's why you want to throw him up against, like female Thor who can't be damaged. So basically she could just sit out here and take damage from Surtur and keep blocking them. There's some weird combos like that. I think the one game I played was I had like a thing that said can't be harmed or can only be hurt by text character or a character with like a fist icon. And apparently when I built my deck, I had no fist icons, so like I couldn't even hurt Iron Man. So here we have Guardians of the Galaxy. So we'll see what we have here. We have 2 dice right away. They are the exact same dice. So we're getting 2 Squirrel Girls in this pack, is what my assumptions. Could be Tippy Toe. So, now I'm not mad if I get 2 Squirrel Girls. I'm going to be mad if I get 2 of the exact same Squirrel Girls. So here we have Dorian Green. Infiltrate. When this character's die is unblocked, you may return this die to the field zone and deal 1 damage to your opponent. Well, that's interesting. So basically what it's saying is, if she attacks and she's unblocked, she can either do like the straight up like 3 or 4 damage she is to the opponent, but then she goes back in the bag and she can't be used anymore. Or if they decide not to block her because they're like, "Ha, I won't block you," and then that way I'll just take the damage but it gets rid of her, you can instead be like, "Nope, I'm just going to deal 1 damage to you and put her back in and you can use her the next turn." So that's kind of a cool ability. She's an Avenger. And then we have, alright, we have a rare. Perfect. Squirrel Girl, Super Squirrely. So now we can see here, they're both 4-cost Avengers. Their dice are the exact same, because they use the same exact dice. But they have different names here. Unbeatable and Super Squirrely, and then I have a yellow line. When Squirrel Girl is blocked, she deals X damage to the defending player, where X is her attack minus the number of blocking dice your opponent has declared this turn. So the other one can go straight through and just hit damage if they're unblocked. This one, she says, if she's blocked, she's basically just going to do different damage. She's going to overrun them and hurt them anyhow. But it's not even like it's not even her attack versus whoever blocks his defense. It's her attack versus how many dice they block. So she's a 4-cost with her 2 of her things, and they block her with 1 character just so they don't take damage. She's gonna do 1 damage anyhow, plus still do her attack damage. But if like her and like 3 other people attack and they block with 3 people, she's gonna do what? That's interesting. That's kind of a neat effect. So there we go. There's a good example of multiple characters. We have another Guardians. Ooh, we got their little keyword. So here's going to show Infiltrate, Call Out, Intimidate, and Deadly. Plus it's going to show some of the cards in this set. So we have Guardians, Spider-Man, Shield, Marvel Knights, and Villains are some of the characters we can look forward to. Alright, who do we got? Who do we got with dice? We have... I don't know. Again, this is a Guardian character. It could be a Spider-Man character. I'm not sure who that's supposed to be. We'll find out. And then, ooh, here we have a gauntlet. So this is either the Infinity Gauntlet or just straight up Thanos. It's probably Thanos. It is. We have a Thanos. I am become death. When Thanos is active, all other Hydra characters are considered blank. So that's interesting. This one has Hydra as a villain, and then the Thor went with the V for villain. So I think originally the Hydra was all of the villain cards, and then this V was the villain for the DC set. So unless after a bazillion sets they finally decided to align them, which would be interesting. Alright, so Thanos is active, all other villain character cards are considered blank. So again, this could be really cool and really bad, because you could play with a bunch of heroes on your side. Um, and that doesn't hurt you, and it hurt your opponent if they're playing a bunch of villains. But I think per rules, like you're not supposed to combine villains and heroes. I'm not sure if that's even a thing. Oh, it's Madame Mystique. I did not at all think of that. Bushes active your opponent's when field abilities do not trigger. Oh, that's hilarious. I thought it worked against Thanos, but his is when active, not when fielded. Nefarious Scheme. Alright, that's pretty cool. It's also neat about this game is because it's just a card with some dice. Is you can get some like interesting or unique characters you might not normally get in another game. So here we have a thumbprint. I believe this is Drax. And then some of the characters have multiple Thor. Oh my god, is this what I think it is? Is this the Iron Man Thor? Oh dude, that would be so awesome. Come on, cards, let me see. Oh no, it's Ronan the Accuser. I see, it's his accuser weapon. Dark, I thought it was like the super rare Infinity Warps Iron Man Thor, because it kind of looks like a Thor with like maybe like an arc reactor in there. That would have been so cool. Alright, so Ronan the Accuser has Judgment Day. When fielded, Ronan gets +2 attack if there are no other dice in your field zone until the end of turn. Alright, and then yes, of course this was Drax. More of his current incarnation versus his big giant purple sis, the Guardians of our team. In pursuit of Thanos. While Drax is active, your other Guardian characters have 1 attack and 1 dice. Defense. So as long as he's out, he helps protect and support everyone else. That's pretty cool. So far, we've only got 1 duplicate with Squirrel Girl, and it wasn't even like a true duplicate. I was like, I already opened for that's right, Squirrel Girl. Alright, what do we got here? We have a flying lady. So this is maybe Faye Lavelle, my guess. I'm not sure. Like sometimes the colors help. Like you kind of like colors that go with the character. This is I'm assuming it's a face going that way, like that's the eye and this is the mouth. But it could be a face going this way. I have no idea. Alright, let's uncover the mystery of these random... Oh, dude, it's Beta Ray Bill. Okay, yep, because you can see it now. Like where that's curving down, that's his eye and that's his jaw there. Alright, that's I kind of thought it went that way. I say the nay. Beta Ray Bill cannot be blocked by sidekicks, which are like the common guys, or defense characters. So something like that can be really difficult. So he can't be blocked by defense characters. So that means like currently Drax couldn't block him. That might be the only character I have. Thor couldn't block him. Odin. The Bifrost doesn't block anyhow. But yeah, that's yeah, something like that could hurt, especially if like the opponent only play blocking characters or they're heavily on the block characters, then it can make him basically like immortal. That's the thing, because the way the game should be played is just supposed to like I bring my 4 characters or 8 characters depending on what size game you're playing, then your opponent brings theirs, and then you have like shared basic cards. Kind of they're sitting out to either player can get, like I bring 2 basic cards, your opponent brings 2, then you can share them. Like your characters only you can recruit. So you don't know what your opponent has, so you can accidentally set up some very uneven games, which is kind of odd. So we have Black Widow, Red Scare. Oh, it's Black Widow. I never would have thought that. Call out. When this character die attacks, target character die is the only character that may block this turn. Oh, that's cool. You can force block. She has some 0 costs, which are pretty nice. She's not super high, but again, you throw like this 3-card attack in there for some 0 costs. You roll her, you get a player for free just as a quick chump blocker. Plus, you can force, you can take out some minions or some cheap guys really quickly. Alright, that's cool. Alright, we're going to stick with Marvel. We'll do the Batman last. We have X-Men First Class. 124 cards in the set. Alright, who do we got? We have the Juggernaut, of course. Oh, ooh. And we have... Now, I would say Phoenix, but I know that's wrong. Judging by the bird shape, I am going to say this is Thunderbird. Whether it's John or James, I'm not sure. We'll zoom back a little bit. We have Juggernaut, who has both the Brotherhood and the Villains team. Get out of my head, Charles. I don't know why I made him Southern. Awaken, KO target sidekick die or moves target sidekick die from your opponent's prep area to their unused pile. When this die spins up 1 or more levels, you may use this effect. Okay, so basically if he gains more powerful, he gains an extra effect. Interesting. And then, yes, we have Thunderbird. So you got the X-Men ability, which is so weird because they made, like, the blue X, like the blue, red, and yellow X is like common X-Men, but then they had to put the word X-Men in there. Like, no other team does that. They don't write Spider-Man or Avengers on anything. It's always, X-Men. So this is Thunderbird, Warrior of the Apache. This particular picture is when he's undead. Kind of undead. It's during the, I can't remember the name of it. Chaos War. And they bring back some heroes and stuff. So Thunderbird is KO'd, spinning all your other character dice up 1 level. Oh, see, this would team up very well with that Juggernaut then. Essentially, put Thunderbird out, sacrifice him or whatever, and he's an uncommon, and then you get up him a level, and then he can use his abilities. So that's kind of a cool thing. So this is actually James or John Proudstar. That's the original Thunderbird. Doesn't mean like the next card that I get this Thunderbird might not be James, even though the picture is John. So we have X-Men, the Exiles, Brotherhood, and Villains. So Awaken, Overcrush, and Infiltrate. A couple of different abilities there. Alright, what do we got in your next pack? I saw the lightning bolt and I'm like, oh, we got Quicksilver. And then I'm like, I saw the lightning bolt and I was like, oh, Quicksilver. And then I'm like, oh, look, it's actually Quicksilver. How funny is that? Because the lightning bolt's just the symbol for the guy. And then we have this Ghost. I'm not sure. Judging by the tail kind of thing going off, I want to say it's a Nightcrawler, but obviously it's very feminine. I'm not sure. Maybe Amanda Steffen? Oh, I was kind of correct on who it was. So we have Quicksilver, Terrigenesis. She has the Brotherhood and the Villains ability. And again, this one uses the V for villains instead of the Hydra symbol, which I think makes more sense if you're going to say just villains, to use a villain symbol versus Hydra, because I think people would associate Hydra as being Hydra characters. So I'm not sure how that really works with this. Impulse, you may pay 1 lightning bolt. If you do, during your next main step, field Quicksilver for free on his level 1 side. Oh, that's cool. So you can basically pay 1 normally he's free, but you could pay one to get him out without having to like try and roll for it. That's interesting. So I was kind of right. This was a Nightcrawler of sorts. It is TJ, Talia Josephine, or Nocturne from the Exiles. So the Exiles team. So it says this is an alternate reality Exiles character, who is the daughter of Nightcrawler and Scarlet Witch. So when Nocturne is active once per turn, when your opponent uses a global ability with one target, you may redirect the effect to another legal target. So yeah, it's a cool ability, and she's an uncommon, but it also could be depending on what your opponent plays, because if your opponent doesn't use a global ability that also only targets one person and have nothing, then then her ability doesn't help you, and then you. So that's sort of thing where this game I feel like can get really unbalanced. I like collecting it. I don't know if I would play it unless I was going to like pre-set up teams that made sense. So like I'm like, okay, I'm gonna be this Iron Man team. You're gonna be Captain America team. We have a ball of fire. So I don't know if this is. There's no asterisk. And there's attacks and defense. It obviously means it's not like a item or whatever, or an item or like, you know, a random thing like that. It's a character. I would guess Sunfire, based on the circle in the middle. Maybe like Age of Apocalypse Sunfire. And then this one we have a diamond. So this is Emma Frost, and I'm pretty sure this is the exact same one she has in previous sets, which was also an interesting thing they did with this game. So, like, they could put Captain America in one set, and, like, 3 sets later, they could do another Captain America, but they could keep the same dice, and they didn't have to change the die, and then that way, like, okay, I bought this pack, I got this Captain America, now I bought this pack, and I got this other Captain America, because I use the same dice, now I can use either 2 dice on either card, which is kind of a neat thing. And there was times they definitely updated and they changed the symbols and the stats to reflect a different version of the character, but it was neat that they didn't do it every single time. So here we have Emma Frost, who's a villain, girl's best friend. When Emma Frost takes damage, redirect 1 damage to target character die. If this damage does not KO it, spin it up a level. Huh. So when she takes damage, can redirect it. It's sort of weird because yeah. Redirect it to another character. If this damage does not kill it, spin it up. So it's kind of like she takes damage, she can try and like KO someone else, or she could like hit Juggernaut and then make him more powerful. Instead, being like, you know what, Juggernaut, take a point of damage. Here, now you can level up. That's kind of cool. She can use it like I can reflect and take out some of my enemies, or kind of maybe use it as like, here, I'm gonna smack you, kid, or you hellion, and you're gonna become stronger. So this is Boom Boom, that's cool. I did not expect that from that picture, but yeah, now you see it's a little time bomb. Boom Boom, also known as Boomer, or the actual picture it's showing here is when she was Meltdown. Well, Boom Boom is active. When you use a basic action guide, deal 2 damage to a target opponent or character. I think the X-Men characters are all about doing some massive damage. I don't mind foil cards in games, but it's a little bit different. Like if I'm buying like a pack of Magic cards or Pokemon or whatever, and they're like, here's your 12 cards or 15 cards you're buying in this set, and then here's an extra foil. I don't like it as much when I'm buying 2 cards, and then every once in a while, one of those 2 cards ends up being a foil. Just because then it's like, if I'm trying to complete my set, I just have a lot more random foils in there. Like, if it was like a 3rd card they threw in there that was foiled, I guess I wouldn't care as much. Alright, so here we have, obviously that is a Cyclops. Undeniable. And then here we have I am not for sure. This could be a chess piece for like maybe like the Black King. It could be like Sebastian Shaw, or one of them. Or this could be... I don't know. I don't know what else it would be. I'm trying to think of early X-Men villains. We have Cyclops, Boy Scout. So, I think, again, this is the same guy that was using some of the earlier Cyclopses. So it's cool that they kind of just brought back the same guys. Awaken, deal 3 damage to target character, die. When this die brings up one or more of these effects. Again, you can use it with Emma Frost. She could take damage, redirect it to Cyclops, and then he could go up a level. Which makes him more powerful, plus he deals 3 damage to another character. Which I wonder if you could, like... I wonder, and I'm not sure legally, in game-wise, you could... If she took damage, she can redirect one of it to Cyclops, and that could do, like, 1 to Cyclops. He'd level up, do 3 damage back to her. She could redirect 1 more to him, level him up to the 3rd time, then you could do another 3... like, to her, and she could level up someone else. Like, that'd be interesting. So yeah, so this is Sebastian Shaw, the Black King. It's a common version. He has no special abilities, but he's, you know, kind of powerful-ish. It's a 3 cost. It's kind of more on thing. You need to throw some characters in there. But it also maybe sort of reflects his ability, like, character-wise, because he starts out as basically, like, a baseline human. He doesn't have anything special, but his mutant powers, as he takes any sort of like energy damage, like if he takes, I think it usually refers to just damage, but it's basically essentially energy. If he takes like kinetic or potential energy, so if he gets hit with a physical or an energy attack, he can absorb it into his body. He takes the damage, he still feels that, but he gets stronger for every time he does it. A similar character to that would be like Bishop can absorb energy, but the thing is, he generally doesn't really feel like the effects of it. He kind of just absorbs it, unless he has too much. Or like Strong Guy, who gets massively hulking per every physical damage he takes. So it's kind of he's an interesting character. Alright, so then now we have 2 more packs with some Batmans. I just grabbed something. I haven't bought any of these before, any of the Batman. So I understand we have an umbrella, so that's more than likely a penguin. And that is clearly a Bane. So let's see how the Batman characters stack up to the Marvel characters. Let's look at this sheet here quick. We're going to have some new gods, some Bat Family, some White Lanterns, and some villains. My guess is the White Lanterns are probably just like the super rare. And there might be some new gods scattered in here. So you have a Flip, a Gadgeteer, Stun Tokens, Common Ground, and Swarm. So I have some different character abilities there. We have the Bane, King of Epina-Duro. Gadgeteer. When Bane attacks, you may roll an action dice from your use pile. If you roll a exclamation face, you may field it. Alright, that's interesting. I don't remember what an exclamation guy is, but interesting nonetheless. He's a villain. And of course we have, and yeah, this is one of the things where I say they made them, all the villains lumped together. Like, they didn't have like the Batman villains. Like, they could have, even if they were all, like, all his villains were considered like Arkham villains or something like that. Even if like, oh, Bane technically never went to Arkham, still it would have been a little bit different, because you could form villain teams. But whatever. The Penguin Follow Play is an uncommon. When fielded, target Batman character is all text until the end of turn. So, interesting. Again, though, like, if I was playing Marvel vs. DC, I would probably not use this. But even still, when I was just playing a DC set, and I'm like, okay, I'll play Penguin, and then my opponent's playing Superman characters. Well, this effect has no use since you can still purchase the die and then use it for like the lightning bolt energy or just an attacker. But you can definitely see how you could get cards that don't do anything if you don't plan them well. Here we have that face. That probably is a scarecrow, is my guess. And then we have, I'm gonna guess this is a guy with a beard. Looks like a mustache and a beard. But I could be very wrong. I have no idea who this is. I'll probably see the card and be like, duh, it's Commissioner Gordon. Because I was also looking at it, it's also like it could be like a Mountie, is the other thing I was looking at. So like, this bottom part being its face, and that's like the hat on top with like the banded brim. Oh, it's Killer Croc, Waylon Jennings. So he has no effect either. But it's interesting because like if you compare him to that Sebastian Shaw we looked at, it's a 3 versus 5 with no abilities. But you also see he costs 3 for a 6/6 and he's 2 for a 7/7. So clearly Killer Croc wins in that sense, but he's also cost 2 more points to field. And then the second one, it's a 2 for 5/5 and he has a 1/3. So he has actually, and he has a 1 and a 4. So Killer Croc has some higher stats here, but you're going to get Sebastian Shaw a lot cheaper, so you might get him out more often. Just kind of like that difference between which character do you play. And then I was right. It was a hat. This is the Question, Vic Sage. So he's got the Justice League. So you can clearly see, even though they showed them team, that's not everyone that's going to be on there. We have Gadgeteer. When the Question attacks and you're rolling extra dice, blah blah blah. We already read that. Alright, so that was pretty cool. That was all of our cards. Sadly, I only got 1 rare out of, what, like 4, 8, 12, 13, 14 packs. I got 1 rare out of 14 packs, and I got a couple of uncommons. You can definitely see how this is. Now, I don't want to say it's like a money sink, like it's bad, because if I bought, just as a terrible example, if I bought another 14 packs and I got the exact same characters, every single card was the same, which would be awful. I mean, terrible odds, but just as a rare example, if I got all these cards are the exact same, like, yeah, it would suck because I wouldn't have different characters, but now I have 2 dice for every character. So that way when I'm playing as these characters, I can actually have more options to field them. Because that's how you play it. So like, when I had that Squirrel Girl, and I have 2 dice now, so if I want to play a Squirrel Girl, currently, right now, I could take one of the 2 cards, I'd have 2 options to buy her. So that way if I bought her the first time, she goes in my bag. And then I could try and roll her at a later turn, hope to get her. Then I can also buy her a second time. So now I have 2 options when I reach into my bag and I grab a handful of like mystery dice, because that's how this game is played. And I grab 2 random dice, and now I can roll them. I can potentially have 2 Squirrel Girls instead of 1. So if I started with a bag of 10 dice, and I have 1 out of 10, and I could buy a second one and get 2 out of 10. You can have up to 4 of each one. So it's kind of, the more dice you have, and basically all, except for some rare exceptions, all common, uncommon, I think even most rares, let you have up to 4 dice. Yeah, the more dice you get of each character, the more you can put them on there. And like, you play a game, you might not maybe use 4 of everybody. You might use, I want 4 Batman, because I need Batman to come out. He's like the crux of my deck. But then you might want, okay, I want 2 Robin, 2 Batgirl, but I really only need like 1 Commissioner Gordon and 1 Alfred. it's that's kind of the thing, is the more, even if you're getting duplicate cards, which kind of sucks, you're getting more of the dice you need. So like when I was playing through, you know, like all my collection, I always kept like one of each card. I have them in a binder, but then I keep up to 4 of each dice. And like any of the extra dice, I put somewhere else because unless I'm gonna weirdly play like something where I have duplicate characters fighting against each other. Although some of them, like if they had different colors but they're the same effects, I kept those. Like you could get some of the earlier Captain Americas and Black Widows, like it would be like a different colored scheme to show like this is from this set, this is from that set, but the symbols and the numbers were the same. Alright, so that's what I got for you guys. See you later. Bye.